Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the sheer, rapid maturation of the AI economy. We are officially moving way beyond those simple chatbots you're used to, and we're going to explore the massive hardware, geopolitical, and financial realities that are actually grounding this technology today.
So let's dive right into this incredibly provocative question. Is AI actually coming for your job, or is it really just jacking up your API bill? Because as we dig into the hard data, the everyday reality of deploying artificial intelligence looks vastly different from all that early hype we saw. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the autonomous coworker era. Second, the physical hardware boom. Third, geopolitics and silicon curtains. Fourth, the agentic billing crisis. And finally, debunking AI job losses.
All right, part one, the autonomous coworker era.
Right now, we're seeing this massive dual software offensive. On one hand, OpenAI is pushing super hard for asynchronous desktop dominance with ChatGPT Work. They're integrating codecs to handle your complex tasks across various apps, basically retiring their Atlas browser. But then, on the flip side, Anthropic is totally catching the industry off guard with Claude Co-Work. This is a mobile-first agent that just persists in the background. Think about it. It's scheduling client prep or drafting your emails at 6 a.m. even while you are completely offline.
Meanwhile, Google, well, they're kind of struggling with internal coding bottlenecks, which is keeping Gemini 3.5 Pro completely locked in enterprise preview. And Meta is rolling out Muse Spark 1.1 right alongside an image generator that's, let's just say, it's taking heavy fire from privacy advocates over scraping public Instagram photos.
Moving on to part two, the physical hardware boom. Get a load of this number, $28 billion. SK Hynix just filed for a staggering $28 billion NASDAQ listing, specifically to fund high-bandwidth memory. This absolutely proves Wall Street's insatiable appetite for the physical silicon that powers AI, and it marks one of the largest first-time U.S. share sales ever by a foreign company.
Now, over in China, tech giants are feeling the squeeze of trade limits, so they're moving incredibly fast to bypass those physical supply chain restrictions. DeepSeek is actually designing its own in-house chips, and Minimax is raising over $2 billion for a staggering 2.7 trillion parameter model. They are determined to achieve silicon independence. And we're also seeing AI literally break physical boundaries. I mean, we've got a joint Namibian and Chinese AI satellite up there providing hands-on data analysis training from orbit. Plus, Mistral just launched their RoboStral Navigate model for autonomous off-grid robotics. This tech is quite literally breaking out of the data center and heading into low Earth orbit and rough physical terrain.
Which brings us to part three, geopolitics and silicon curtains. Beijing is floating what's being called a silicon curtain. It's a proposed regulatory framework aimed at locking down their sovereign AI advancements from the rest of the world. By keeping highly capable models like QN, GLM 5.2, and DeepSeek heavily restricted, they are taking hard steps to safeguard their domestic technological edge. Now, looking impartially at the West, U.S. lawmakers are actually mirroring this exact approach. They've proposed a multi-tiered model lockdown that scales from just basic registration for open-source utilities all the way up to an absolute domestic-only lockdown for sensitive military systems. Both of these global superpowers are actively walling off their most critical software. All right, part four, the agentic billing crisis. This is a wild stat. A staggering 78% of IT leaders reported entirely unexpected AI API charges this year. It's creating an unprecedented budgeting crisis for enterprises. Even with the cost per raw token actually going down, companies are finding their budgets just completely blown out of the water. So why is this happening? Well, the mechanics of how we're billed are completely shifting. Unlike a standard one-and-done chat query, agentic AI works recursively. It triggers dozens of model calls to solve just one single problem. The agent plans, checks its tools, analyzes the results, and iterates over and over again. And yep, it's charging your account every single time it loops. Because of that compounding effect, an overwhelming 90% of CIOs now officially cite cost forecasting as their single greatest deployment challenge in this new era.
And finally, part five, debunking AI job losses.
There's this massive narrative out there about AI hollowing out the entry-level workforce, right? But the hard data actually proves the death of the junior role is a complete myth. Instead of replacing workers, the companies in the top third of AI spending per employee are actually aggressively expanding their teams. They are not downsizing. Check this out. Over the last 24 months, these high-intensity AI adopters saw a 10% increase in total human headcount, and even more surprising, a 12% jump in entry-level hiring. These companies aren't shedding jobs at all, they are actively creating them.
Here's the paradox. Deploying these digital coworkers creates a literal mountain of raw output. We're talking an exponential influx of code, reports, and data. And to handle all that, you actually need a massive influx of human curators and managers to audit, validate, and direct it all. The AI does the heavy lifting of raw generation, sure, but humans absolutely have to be the strategic directors.
It all boils down to this incredible insight. The ultimate bottleneck in an agentic economy remains highly trained human oversight. As we sit here looking at these photorealistic server facilities and trillion-parameter models, we have to ask ourselves, will human judgment be the ultimate constraint on the speed of AI automation? Because the faster our AI agents work, the more human insight we need to keep the wheels on the track. So, if human judgment really is the ultimate bottleneck, you have to ask yourself, is your company actually preparing its workforce to manage the AI, or are you just paying the API bill? Subscribe to the AI Vanguard to stay at the absolute cutting edge of industrial AI. And, hey, if you found this explainer valuable, please hit that like button, drop a comment, and share it around. Thanks for tuning in.